Welcome into the Rob Bro Show. I am Rob Bro. I'm the host. You are the co-host. You can co-host today by commenting on the Starting Line chat line. Starting Line chat line brought to you by Starting Line Counseling, startinglinecounseling.com. Free 15-minute consultation if you want to go there today. If you are struggling or going through something personal, you just want to talk it out, you can at Starting Line Counseling online or in person. They're in Gunner, Texas. You can talk to Chase there as well. All right. Big time news today. Jack Leiter will make his debut in mere minutes. We will be live in action for him in the next couple of innings. But mainly we're going to talk about the Texas Tech baseball team. I'm sure today a couple of additions in the basketball portal as well. We'll start with baseball just because it's on our minds. First, thoughts on Jack Leiter making his debut. Honestly, it's a little sooner than I expected, but he's pitched well, and you've kind of had some hiccups, injury and otherwise, with the bullpen and the starters in the last week and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit earlier than I think we talked about it in the season preview, kind of what we expected to see from the Rangers this year. Was that you'll see Jack Leiter at some point. I thought it may be like May or June before they brought Jack Leiter in, because he was going to have to figure out some of those control issues that he was having the past couple of years. Remember last year they kind of shut him down early in the AAA season and just brought him to Arlington to work with Mike Maddox and the pitching staff and the coaching staff, and to kind of work through we don't just want to throw 100 miles an hour, have a bunch of spin. If we can't throw it for strikes, it means nothing. And Jack Leiter, he's walked in 3 starts. He's walked 2 guys in his first 3 starts at AAA this year. So it looks like that the mechanical stuff has been fixed out and for the most part has been tweaked and put in the right spots. And Jack Leiter's in the right headspace as well, because pitching is 90% of it is mentality. And it's how confident are you in your stuff? And that's where, there's some guys that struggle a ton because they're not as confident and they don't throw strikes. So I think Jack Leiter is starting to figure it out. He's matured a little bit, it looks like, from last year to this year for sure. And I think that has a lot to do with Bruce Bochy, Mike Maddox, the rest of the coaching staff that's in Texas. And the scouts too that go along with it, that help in spring training and all those things. So I hope that he throws well. I hope that his first couple, he'll have at least 1 or 2 starts here in the big leagues, and if they go well, then we'll see him pitch for quite some time here in the big leagues. And I hope he never has to leave. I hope he's that good, right? Yeah. That's what you hoped whenever you drafted this kid. It's a little bit earlier than I think people might have thought. Of course, there's some people that thought he could have pitched in the big leagues in his first year out of Vanderbilt, and he has good stuff. Don't get me wrong, he has great stuff. The control has been the issue for Jack Leiter. He had the arm issue as well with injury. So I think that what my hope for Jack Leiter is, and the Rangers, is that he just becomes that guy that they wanted him to be when they drafted him in the first round out of Vanderbilt, and be a frontline starter guy for them for years to come, because you've got now his clock started and he's got 6 years left of control under the Texas Rangers. So hopefully that by the time that time is up, it's been a great run, and then you sign him to a big contract when he's done with it. Right. So that's the hope. Starts with game 1 today, and we'll see how he does in Detroit.
I thought Jack Leiter would debut as a Texas Ranger in the bullpen.
Yeah.
His stuff, him and Kumar Rocker both seemingly in the last year and a half had been on a trajectory to be in the Texas Rangers bullpen through some injuries, and otherwise they just didn't look like they were going to pan out as starters. Jack Leiter over under 4 1/3 today. I think if he gets there, it's a snug over. I do not think he's going long today.
Yeah, I want him just to get through 5. Like, if you're Bruce Bochy, you hope he can go 5,
I
right?
hope.
Like, so
I
I
I
would
just
take the over in the 4 1/3
yeah.
just because I hope and I pray that he
Well,
has a
hope and
good first
expectation
outing.
are 2 different things.
Yeah, right, yeah. But yeah, I think he can give you 5 today. And even if it's not, even if he gives up 5 runs in 5 innings, if the Rangers offense is doing something and it's keeping you in the game, if it's 5-3,
Sure.
then that's okay with me. It's not like the bullpen's been awesome, so it's not like you have just this person you can go to out of the bullpen and be like, he can give us 3 innings and put up zeros. No, it hadn't really turned out like that here lately, but and we knew there was going to be growing pains with this team. I'm going to say that until people finally understand. Like, the Rangers, they're nowhere near full health, especially in the starting rotations. So, yeah, if you can get 5 innings out of Jack Leiter in his first ever major league start, then that's huge. And I think the big thing for Jack Leiter too is he's not wowed by like Major League Baseball stadiums. He grew up around them. Like, he's a kid that grew up around big league ball players his whole entire life,
Yeah.
and so it's not something that's just gonna like be like a wide-eyed wow moment. Like, if me or you went to the big leagues, it'd be like, holy crap, I'm pitching at Tiger Stadium. I'm in Detroit. I'm starting my first game in the big leagues. Like, he'll have those jitters, obviously, but he won't be wowed by the spectacle that is Major League Baseball in a big league stadium and all those things, just because it's like growing up, that's where he was. It's what he did. He went to big league games. He was on the field. He played like he was a pitcher, I'm sure, on a big league mound his whole entire life. So,
Yeah, you see the Patrick Mahomes videos. I'm sure there's lots of Jack Leiter
right.
videos out there too.
Same thing with Prince Fielder when he grew up, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr.,
Jackson
Kevin
Holliday.
Biggio,
Yeah.
all of these guys. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a big thing for them because they were around it as kids. Like, it's just normal to them to be in the big leagues because that's where their dads were. So,
By the way, this from David Collier today on his radio show. He said that Jack Leiter and Mark Leiter Jr. are the first pairs of, I guess, cousins to make the
cousins, yeah.
league after their um, father duo brothers made the league. So it's the first time 2 brothers have each had a son make the major
That
league
made it to the big leagues. That's
in a
quite
couple
the family
years.
tree right there.
Yeah. So what was it, Mark and Al?
Al Leiter was the lefty.
Al
Al
Leiter
had a
was
better
Jack
career than
Leiter's
Mark.
dad. Al Leiter pitched for 19 MLB seasons.
Yeah.
And then Mark and Mark Leiter Jr. also major leaguers. Mark Leiter
Al had
Jr.
a better career.
Well, yeah. Still, they both were there. But it's the first time 2 brothers have also had sons.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So there you go. According to David Collier, I've not fact checked him. But David Collier is one of those guys you don't really need to fact check. He does his own.
Yeah, usually DC he's all over it. Yeah.
He is all over it. All right. Let's move on a little bit. We'll get back to Jack Leiter as he gets going. Again, just minutes away. If he hasn't already pitched, we'll have to see. But what were your thoughts on the Arkansas series, that midweek? I will say this: Texas Tech up to 33 in the RPI just because you played them.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
win
And you played them within 1 run
twice. But
each game.
what are some of the thoughts on how it went down and to bunt or not to bunt there in the TCU series? Now we get into the Arkansas series, and it's to pull or not to pull these relievers that are going in, giving up 17 runs in an inning.
Yeah, it's this Tech team feels like it's one of those things where you just have a couple pieces missing, right? Like, you just can't quite fit that last puzzle piece into the puzzle because it just doesn't fit right now. You're a good team, but you're not a great team. You're above average. Let's put it that way. And Arkansas is a great team. Like Arkansas's got a real shot to go win a national title this year. They've got the pitching to do it, and they've got the offense. They've got the lineup. Texas Tech has the lineup most nights, most days. The pitching is where you struggle a little bit, especially late in games when it's nut cutting time and you got to go get outs and you need to get 3 outs and you need to win a ball game. Like we haven't seen that from Texas Tech pitching this year a whole lot. Really, I'm trying to think. I tried to think about this last night or Tuesday night after you lost 2. And then yesterday too, like, have there been a ton of games this year? Name me one game where you've been, I guess the Stanford game last week or 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday when you were up 15-2, and then, you're able to hold them off.
Yeah.
Like that's a time when the pitching, somebody came in and closed the door finally, but it just feels like you don't have that one guy who can just come in and close the door. Right. Like that's what it feels like. And you don't have any confidence in anybody to come in and close the door either.
And you don't have the confidence for your defense to play clutch defense.
Right, to make the plays to close the door. Yeah.
Because you really did trust Parker Hutera, or Hutra, as they were calling him. Sorry, but he comes in, ball goes under the glove of Cade McGee, who's played great defense all year long. And then right back up to the pitcher, and he takes a step off the mound and tries to throw it to Tracer Lopez, slips, but Tracer Lopez can't dig it out of the dirt.
Yep.
So even the guy you trust, the defense you can't trust. So we talked about that a couple of times, specifically a couple of weeks ago. Do you lose faith in your stuff when you're trying to bury a curveball to get a ground ball out, and you just don't trust them to get the ground ball behind you?
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. It comes down to like the mentality of a pitcher, right? I just talked about that with Jack Leiter. The mentality of a pitcher is if they're not making plays behind you, I've got to do it all on my own. And when you do that, you start overthrowing, you start second guessing every pitch you throw, you start choking off a breaking ball. You spike one, or you throw it over the batter's head, which happened on Tuesday night that allowed them to get runners in scoring position and then score on the sac fly. All of those things are true. And then, that's the difference between great teams and teams that are good, but they aren't going to go do much in the postseason, right? Like, this is not a Texas Tech team that I see if they make a regional, which I think they still have a good shot at doing, just according to D1 baseball. And now if it was me, I don't think Texas Tech is a regional team, to be honest with you. But according to D1 baseball and Baseball America and all these guys, the Big 12 is a 6-bid league.
And Texas Tech's a 2 seed.
And Texas Tech's a 2 seed, right?
That's 33 RPI. And furthermore, Carson, if you beat West Virginia at home and you beat Oklahoma at home, doesn't really matter what you do on the road.
RPI is going to shoot up.
You also have Arizona State at home twice.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, if you cancel New Mexico and you cancel UNLV, you're there. It doesn't matter what you do in the rest of your games. If you win 2 more Big 12 series, you're in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of where you are in the RPI today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Lose 3 Big 12 series, the RPI does funny things.
Yeah.
But if you win 4 more Big 12 games, that probably is not enough. If you win 5, 6, I mean, the RPI is where it is. You have 3 series left with top 25 RPI teams.
Yeah, well, and Oklahoma State's a big one for you to get too. Yeah.
And then Kansas top 75.
Yeah.
In RPI. So you have plenty of RPI on the table to go and move up. If you win the rest of your series, Carson, you're saying you might not be a regional team, and I'm not saying this is likely. If you win the rest of your series and maybe
you could sneak yourself into hosting,
you could host.
Yeah,
this team has the potential to host a regional, not a super probably, unless some things go crazy. But
they wouldn't be a top 16. They wouldn't be a top 8. I mean,
but I'm just saying you have that available on your schedule. Will it happen? Probably not.
Yeah.
Do I think it's legitimate? Probably not. By the way, the Texas Rangers 1-0 after the top of the first. Marcus Semien leadoff home run. Jack
Yeah,
Leiter
leadoff Bomsky.
next. What's the highest RPI team we've won a series against? It just feels like we haven't beaten a good RPI team. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me look.
That we've won a series against.
I mean,
Houston.
That's a good thought.
Houston.
So you beat UCF once.
But winning a series.
Right, winning a series. I'm trying to go to the RPI here. I was doing two things at once here.
So you lost your series to Texas. Lost a series at TCU. You beat Houston.
I'm just going to go down the RPI and say what we've done.
Okay.
Lost 2 to Arkansas. They're number 4. Lost to Tennessee. They're number 7. Lost to Oregon State. Lost to UCF. They're 15. Haven't played Dallas Baptist. I wish we would. Oklahoma at 21. They're still on the horizon. Oklahoma State at 23. They're still on the horizon. West Virginia at 26. They are this weekend. Texas Tech again 33. Kansas State 34. They're not on the schedule.
Nope.
TCU you beat once. They're 38th.
Those that TCU loss was such a bad loss to not win that series.
Big gap. Texas, you got beat twice. That was the 676 team. Unless I'm missing somebody. By the way, Kansas down to 92. I thought they were higher. Did you play Grand Canyon this year? No, I don't believe you did.
No.
That was last year.
No.
Houston.
Yeah, Houston,
and they're 100.
So your best series win is against the 100th ranked team in the RPI.
Yeah.
Eesh.
Baylor 112.
You lost that series.
Lost that series, yes.
Have you only won one Big 12 series? I'm not looking at the schedule, just off the top of my head.
No, you've
won 2 Big 12 series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You beat BYU twice.
BYU, yeah. BYU and Houston.
Swept Houston.
Yeah.
I mean the question there from Brandon. He didn't ask the question, but he's asking the question. Can you beat anybody in front of you? Yes. I mean, you lost the TCU series with 2 really close games that you probably should have won. That UCF series, 2 plays go differently. You sweep UCF on the road. Did you know? But, I mean, that is a really close series. You go back to that Baylor game, that's a really close Baylor series until it wasn't in those final 2 games.
In the final inning, 5-1 and 7-2.
So it looks worse than it was, but hey, Baylor's pretty good somehow. I know they're still low in the RPI, but again, do I think Texas Tech hosts? No. Can Texas Tech win 2 more Big 12 series? Yes, I think they can. Especially at home, I think you have a really good opportunity against West Virginia this weekend. And if you can sweep somebody, Katie bar the door, all bets are off. But I think with your pitching right now, when you take those midweek bullpen arms out of the equation, the guys who struggled this weekend, if they're not pitching on a weekend, I really do trust this pitching staff. If you get some timely hitting, which you can do at home much more easily than you do anywhere else. That's just a fact. The splits prove it. I look for Texas Tech to finish strong here. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm not as out on the team as I feel like a lot of fans are.
Yeah, I mean, after the 2 losses to Arkansas, there's the same people that I normally see are in the Twitter sphere or Facebook, whatever they use to berate coaching staffs. And there's a lot of people that are asking for Tim Tadlock to be fired.
Yeah, I've seen some people questioning that lifetime
That
contract.
that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. First of all,
This is number 2
for
team in
what
the
reason?
country, and you lost by
What
1 run
reason?
twice.
Yeah, what reason would you fire Tim Tadlock for? Like, that's my question. For what reason are you going to fire Tim Tadlock? Because he's done more for this baseball program than even Larry Hayes did. And Larry Hayes had a great career at
Well,
Texas Tech.
who do you replace Tim Tadlock with? Is the question.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Yeah. So,
Like, you want to get Dave Van Horn? Like,
no.
no. I just, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's not any coach in the SEC unless he's an assistant coach that is going to come to Texas Tech, because everybody in the SEC, even the ACC for that matter, has, like, the facilities at Texas Tech are not nice. The new indoor is cool. It's nice. It is what it is. It's not the fanciest or most state-of-the-art place in the world.
You're talking the actual stadium, though.
Yeah, the actual stadium's a piece compared to most everybody else in college baseball these days. I mean,
in the SEC, sure. In the ACC, probably.
In the SEC, the ACC,
it's far from the Big 12.
I don't know, man. I mean, even Oklahoma's ballpark's nicer. Kansas State just redid theirs. UCF just redid theirs. Their ballpark's great. Looks like a small A-ball stadium.
All right, single into right field in the first at bat, and then a strikeout in the second at bat for Jack Leiter. I think I missed it.
He struck out. He struck out the leadoff guy.
Oh, he struck out the first guy.
He struck out. So he's got 2 strikeouts here in the first inning. By the way,
he is
first batter he faced in the big leagues. He struck him out.
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting, this stuff.
Yeah.
I think he hung a breaking ball to that second guy, and he kind of poked it over.
Yeah, Mark Canna. Yeah. Then he struck out Carpenter, and now he's pitching to
Torkelson.
Yeah, Spencer Torkelson.
That slider, it's like a 12-6 slider.
It's nasty, right? There is so much spin. I don't even know what the spin rate is on that thing, but it's filthy.
Have you seen Glass now talking about stadium readouts and how he looks at them during the game?
I haven't seen it.
So Tyler Glass, now the Dodgers pitcher, now was with the Rays for a long time.
Was with the Rays, yeah.
6'10". He went back and forth with Trevor Bauer during the spin stuff. Or he was kind of on Trevor Bauer's side and all of that. He has admitted to using sunscreen and rosin, which he says everybody uses.
Perfectly legal.
Anyways, Glass now said that stadiums will put TrackMan data by the radar now on the stadium readout.
I know they do it at Globe Life Field.
So you see the spin rate and everything. He says he uses that during the game to judge how his pitches are doing and change pitches and do everything.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Importance.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, for some guys, it's probably too much to go in and live on the mound. Maybe in between innings, you're looking at readouts and stuff. But he says he looks at it after every pitch.
No, for baseball nerds, for pitching nerds, like that, like Trevor Bauer would do it, and obviously there's other guys like him. I was never like a pitching nerd. I just knew what was working for me that day.
Yeah,
and I didn't throw hard enough to look at the radar gun either. Nor did anybody talk about spin rate whenever I was playing.
Oh, hey, by the way, somebody DM'd me the other day asking for your highlight tape. Do you have any highlights?
Probably not. Nobody videoed things in those days.
It was so long ago. They because you alluded to being a submariner last time.
Yeah.
Which I guess toward the end of your career, I think it was more of a submarine than early.
Yeah. In my
after the
early years of college, I was more like, I wasn't here, but I was down here. And then once I got further into my college career and everything, especially after Tommy John, I went way down.
Yeah.
To get more movement and more, just whatever I could get on the fastball.
Pop up. strikeout, walk, hit in there somewhere, and then
Fly out.
pop up.
Yeah.
Fly out because it was in the grass, but it was a pop up.
Yeah.
That's the official book guy in Detroit giving them a fly out.
Put up a 0 in the first inning, Jack Leiter. Attaboy.
I guess the center fielder did catch it, but it
said the flight out to center. Nate Vierling.
That is generous. It is a generous fly out. I guess it really doesn't matter. I always try to keep the book while I'm calling a game.
Yeah.
And I don't track errors or anything else. I'll write them as the team. But in the book, I'll so I can remember, I'll just say single or whatever else. But the fly out, pop out stuff is funny to me because that was obviously a pop out.
Yeah, it's just a
but we're calling
get underneath it and pop it straight up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it went to the center fielder, yeah.
But it was barely in the grass. He just came all the way on.
Yeah, I'm not even watching. I'm just watching on ESPN tracker the box score. But yeah, I don't know that I have any. Like, I think the only video that I do know that I have somewhere, and I don't know where it is me pitching in the state championship game our senior year of high school. But I was just sidearm. I was like here in those days. Now I would move it up and down,
right?
Some from here, and I'd change arm angles. But I don't really have any from college or the couple years that I played in indie ball and A ball. So yeah, I don't know there's anything out there. I wish I did. That'd be cool to have those.
Yeah.
Like, just to show people, like, see, I actually did do this. Like coaching my daughter's high school softball team now. They're like, you played baseball? Were you any good? I was like, at one point I was. I used to be.
Just can't prove it.
It just can't show you because nobody took videos. Nobody had camera phones really just sitting there doing, taking a camera phone and, you had a digital camera where you took pictures.
I've got some videos I would like to show people from high school, or at least not show people, but they're in like the actual VHS tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're just sitting there. I can't ever watch them. I have no idea how to use it. I have to take them somewhere and get them.
You can go to one of those stores like KK's Craft Mall or somewhere here in Lubbock you can take it in there and they'll put it on a DVD or something for you.
I don't know.
Put it on a zip drive. Yeah, we did that. Heather did that for our wedding a few years back. All the VHSs.
Oh, this is Kid Tomato.
Plus, my parents were terrible about videoing anything we did.
Oh, yeah. Same. We just say they were in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. They were just enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
My mom, and during my collegiate career and everything, she was like, do I really need to show up to the game? Like, are you going to pitch today? I'm like, Ma, listen, I'm a reliever. I may not pitch at all, but I might throw 4 innings. You never know.
Yeah.
She's like, well, just text me if you're going to the bullpen. That's not how it works, Ma. But okay.
All right. Texas Tech basketball, a couple of players out of the portal into the game. Kevin Overton and Federico.
Federico.
Both solid additions. How do I say this? Tournament players, both of them have played in the tournament. Pitt did not make the tournament this year, but they made it last year with Federico. I don't think Federico is some dominant big man that can come in and run the Big 12. But he had one of the top block rates in the ACC. He was a competitive ACC big man. He can come in and play 20 to 25 minutes a night in the Big 12. He's 6'11". He's probably your starting big guy. Yahalo and Devin Cambridge can spell. If you're playing Cambridge at the 4, I'm more confident in Federico. Now that puts Darian Williams at the 3. And then you have Overton, Chance McMillan, and Kerwin Walton to play the 2 and the 3, depending on what's going on. If Darian Williams is in or out. If you're playing small. Couple of things there. And then you have, Carson, no point guard on the roster. So that's the next thing to do. What are your thoughts on the two addies, Federico, and Kevin Overton? By the way, 2-run blast after a double. Josh Smith comes in on the double, and then Jonah Heim hits the 2-run blast.
Oh boy, Jonah. The Federico kid, I like that he brings you some height. Obviously, you want that.
6'11".
He brings the opportunity to block shots, kind of clear up the middle, kind of like you expected from Warren Washington this past season. And then Overton's a kid that Grant McCaslin and his staff really know quite well. They offered him coming out of high school at North Texas. He chose to go to Drake instead, and had a good couple years at Drake. They went to the tournament this year. They were a pretty solid basketball team, and now he's gonna play for Coach McCaslin and company, because I think that what they liked about him in high school, he got better at in his first couple of years in the college game. And now it's kind of come full circle for Kevin Overton and for McCaslin and the staff to finally coach this guy. And I think he'll be a good addition to this team. I go back to these mid-major schools. Drake, a good mid-major, kind of like what you see from where Adonis Arms came from at Winthrop. And Adonis Arms didn't even really start at Winthrop a whole lot. So, and then look at how how well he fit in, how well he performed here on the South Plains in Lubbock. And so Overton, I think, has the ability to kind of be a guy like that. He's 6'5", maybe 6'6" to some people, got a good wingspan on him. He can play inside out. So I like this pickup. What does he have? He has 2 or 3 years of eligibility left. So 3. That's
he
what
just
I thought.
did 1 year at Drake.
Yeah, 1 year at Drake. That's right.
Yeah.
And so I like this pickup for Grant McCaslin, and I like that he's familiar with the coaching staff. There won't be any kind of growing pains to it. McCaslin knows his game, knows what his strengths are from recruiting him, watching him, obviously. And so, I think it's a good pickup, and I just hope that you can go out and get 3 or 4 more. And definitely go out and get a point guard.
So currently, Overton, Federico, Cambridge, Williams, Walton, McMillan.
Yeah.
Francis. So you have 7 scholarships available. I would not be surprised to see 5 scholarships used in the next 2 months, and then kind of hold on to 1 or 2 for those either late additions or mid-year additions. But we'll see. You might fill out all 13 scholarships and see what happens. Now, I would assume, so Federico, I think is, I'd have to go back and look at his COVID stuff, but I think he is in the final year of his eligibility. I think he'd have 1 more year. Overton is like Williams. He'll come in after his true freshman season to Texas.
True freshman.
3 potential. Chance McMillan, 1 year remaining. Kerwin Walton, 1 year remaining. You've seen more high school recruiting going on with the Texas Tech staff, with offers and whatnot going out. You have a 6'7" kid from Wyoming to visit at the end of April. Another dead-eye shooter, not much defensively, but 6'7", and probably if he's coming here, he knows what his role is going to be and is going to be, second guy off the bench. But if you can get that kind of buy-in and spend that kind of NIL money on that kind of player, I think you certainly have to do it.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at the like what's left out there, like point guard wise.
Right.
I really haven't dove into the transfer portal yet, just because there's still a few guys that are popping in, and coaching changes are still happening. Obviously, we've seen this week. It'll be interesting to see what BYU does. Have they hired a new coach? Did they hire from within, or
Yes. No, they hired from the NBA.
okay?
It was the top assistant from, I think his name is Young.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that Mark Pope hire by Kentucky really shook some things up, because it's a little bit later than some things usually happen, right? Like the Calipari thing kind of shook everybody up, and then it was like, who is Kentucky going to go get? And really, I think that Mark Pope going back to Kentucky, where he played his days, obviously won the national title in 1996. He walks off the bus with his former teammates when they roll up into Rupp Arena. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Roll into Rupp Arena with the bus, and
You like that?
everybody gets off with the national championship trophy, and the arena, Rupp Arena, is packed full of people
Yeah.
for a press conference. Kind of like what happened when Texas Tech brought Bob Knight in. That the USA was packed. I mean, there was a lot of people. I don't know that it was sold out, like there wasn't a seat to be found, because it was just half of the USA, but that place was full. And but yeah, so I think Kentucky got a guy that will fit, and he knows what the expectations are at Kentucky. But for BYU, did you find who the guy was?
Yeah. His name's Young from Phoenix. He was the top assistant
Okay.
for the Phoenix Suns.
Does he have any like history at BYU? Did he play at BYU, or he just a guy that was close and they were like, "Hey, this guy's cool"?
That's it's a good question. Let me do some more research. Kevin Young. How Kevin Young went from just wanting to be a high school basketball coach to the NBA. And now he's the head coach of the Brigham Young Cougars.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, and you already said it that what's the kid's name from Wenzel from Wyoming? Good
Yes.
shooter,
Uh-huh.
6'6", 6'7". He can play the 3 and the 4. He can, and I mean shooter. He and Darian Williams have a lot of the same similar game. Darian's a little bit more physical than Wenzel will be,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's funny because you talk about all these guys, and it's crazy though. I watched Wyoming play quite a bit because they're always on those late games, like on the CBS Sports Network or whatever. Right as soon as there's nothing else to watch some night, and you're watching on a Wednesday night, and the Mountain West is playing, and it's Wyoming playing Air Force or somebody like that, and there's 6,000 people in the gym, and actually that's probably a little bit too much. There's 2,000 people in the gym, and it's 11:45 at night, and you're watching Wyoming just duke it out with Air Force.
That
This kid can
Wyoming
rip it.
basketball arena is pretty fun, though.
Yeah,
Like
it's a
Coliseum.
cool arena. Yeah, it's just exactly like the Coliseum. Yeah. But yeah, I think the Wenzel kid it would be a good get, especially shooting wise. Obviously you already have Kerwin Walton, but Kerwin Walton doesn't do anything else but catch and shoot. Like he can't play defense. He doesn't rebound. He can't create his own shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kerwin Walton's a one trick pony.
All right.
But
So Kevin Young, I'm doing some Kevin Young research. You ready?
Yeah.
Kevin Young played in Marietta, Georgia at Sprayberry High School. Then he went to Middle Georgia College, a junior college, then transferred to Clayton State University.
Never heard of it.
That was in 2004. So he's a little bit older than you and I. Jack Leiter getting touched up in the second.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Oxford College as an assistant, Utah Valley, which is probably the closest he was to BYU. Then he goes to the Shamrock Rovers, the Utah Flash, the Iowa Energy, the Delaware 87ers, and then the Philadelphia 76ers. In 2016, he makes his NBA coaching debut as an assistant for the 76ers. Then he goes to the Suns in 20 and 21. then gets promoted to associate head coach in 21 through 24. Do you want to know the only connection to BYU I've seen in this entire Wikipedia entry?
What's that?
Young is married to Melissa Bailey of Omaha, Nebraska. They have 2 sons together and 1 daughter. He is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
That makes sense now. Yeah.
So he's a Mormon. But that's the only connection I see. So there you go.
There you go. Good for the Cougars.
Kevin Young.
Who knows how that will play out? But how many? I don't know. I don't even know how many guys they lost off that team. Like, I don't know if Jackson Robinson's back.
So they're
Wiz Khalifa, is he coming back?
The biggest high school recruit in BYU history flipped to Kentucky.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he went with Mark Pope.
I'm looking at the transfer portal currently, and I don't know offers and whatnot and who's looking at Texas Tech, but I do have a couple of names for you.
Okay.
Javon Small, State this last season. He is the number 1 ranked point guard in the portal currently. Tyrese Hunter, Iowa State, Texas. He's back in the portal.
Yeah, bring him to Lubbock. Love that guy.
I've seen
he's Keenan Evans.
I've seen some thought that he might go rejoin Chris Beard. We'll see what happens there. I've also seen Pop Isaac listed as an Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
DJ Wagner from Kentucky, Aiden Holloway from Auburn, Jeremy Roach from Duke, Jordan Pope from Oregon State. Now, these are just point guards. I don't know anything about them. I'm not saying they're coming to Texas Tech. I'm just reading off a list. Kirk Risa from West Virginia. And then Layden Blocker from Arkansas. And I want to say there's some kind of connection there between this staff and him. Did he play at Sunrise or something?
Who?
There was some connection. Yeah, Sunrise Christian. So he played for one of the lead assistants on Texas Tech's coaching staff, Layden Blocker. So you have a connection to Blocker from Arkansas. I don't know that matters.
I wonder why Jeremy Roach is leaving Duke.
It's a good question. I don't know.
That'd be cool if you brought him to Lubbock, though. Great point guard.
That would be awesome.
Really nice. Really nice. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I wish there was, like you can go to the actual recruiting place database and see what offers have been made. I wish that was available in the transfer portal.
Is TJ Bamba Mo Bamba's brother?
I have no idea.
Played at Villanova. He's in the transfer portal. He's a 6'5" shooting guard. Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, Robert Jennings is scheduled for a visit at Texas A&M. I've not seen anything on Kyron Lindsey. And then Pop Isaacs, I've seen linked to A&M and Ole Miss.
Kyron Lindsey's going to have a tough time finding anywhere. He's gone through 2 schools that everybody's going to call, obviously, and they're going to tell them, look, the kid, he's got talent, but he doesn't want to listen. He wants to do his own thing. So if that's what you're about, then bring the kid in. But there's not I don't think there's a Power 5 team out there that Kyron Lindsey is going to end up playing for. I think he's going to play for a mid-major. That's where I think Kyron Lindsey ends up.
By the way, Javon Small has heard from Texas Tech, but he's also He's also heard from Texas, Kansas, Louisville, Michigan, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Kansas State, Mississippi State, Indiana, LSU, Georgia, Villanova, Xavier.
Just say everybody else. Yeah, just say everybody else.
It's a long list. I would really enjoy Javon Small or Tyrese Hunter. I know a lot of people would think the Tyrese Hunter move would probably gin up some emotion, but
I think Tyrese Hunter would be a great addition.
I
The
don't
kid
know.
can score.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. I don't know where he'll go. He might be in the
I'm telling you,
portal.
he's just like Keenan Evans, right? Like his game is a lot like Keenan Evans's game was. Like that's Tyrese Hunter in a nutshell. Plus, he just absolutely murdered you every time you played, even when you played against him when he was at Iowa State and at Texas.
Right.
Tyrese Hunter has always been good. Yeah.
Not always against Texas Tech, but certainly
Not all, yeah, but he's been good. DJ Wagner is another point guard that comes to like just looking at it from Kentucky. He's a Camden, New Jersey kid. I don't know how much why would the Tech staff go talk to him? He's probably never heard of Lubbock, Texas before, but
you've seen some Stranger Things.
Yeah. So DJ Wagner's another name out there.
Yeah. All right. Need to wrap it up. Jack Leiter getting touched. Maybe after we get off the air, he'll be better. Runners on the corners currently. But any final thoughts, Carson?
Yeah, it's still 4-3. The Rangers are still winning, so he'll keep going. John commented on the starting line. The ESPN crew is great and balanced and very complimentary of Tech, and assumed Tech would make a regional. Yeah, I thought Carl Ravitch and Kyle Peterson did a good job. Even though Carl Ravitch, before they started the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the SEC versus the ACC right here on ESPNU or SEC Network.
They also didn't pronounce a single Texas
name
Tech
right, yeah. Yeah.
But
that to me though is on the SID who should have taken the pronunciation. Or it's on Carl Ravitch for not reading the pronunciation guide. So
that's them being lazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. But yeah, I thought that it was all right.
They were fine.
I like Kyle Peterson. Kyle Peterson's a big fan of Tim Tadlock too. Him and Tim are buddies. So yeah.
I thought the Gutierrez interview was good.
Yeah, I thought that was great too. Yeah.
In the middle of the game.
So yeah, I wish you would have won one of those games. The only thing I would have changed about the 2 days you spent in Fayetteville.
It sounds so moral victory stupid, but Tech got better. Tech got a better resume by playing Arkansas twice.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree.
I mean, those losses helped. Wins would have helped more, but your RPI got better because you played them.
Arkansas fans on Twitter are absolutely morons, though. So
yeah, I did not look at any of that.
Yeah, it was. There's some people that are very need mental help.
Well,
they need to call the starting line chat line.
That's in a lot of fan bases.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Certainly in Arkansas. All right.
Good point.
I will see you tomorrow potentially or Monday for sure.
Yep. See you. Peace.
Guys.